in a conspiracy situation like this, the closer you get to the end, the more the beginning starts making sense, right? And so, anyways, I want, without showing any, like, I just want to do what the court's doing. I want to use their evidence against them, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to push Mr. Myers to a point of like mental breaking, and then use the things he says and does right before that mental break against him. Unfortunately, Mr. Myers is not that easy to break, and unfortunately for them, that their actions are obvious to me. So anyways, I'm going to try to explain the psychological side of it, which is part of the reason Shannon has a lot to do with this, but just if what I'm saying logically doesn't make sense, again, don't listen to it. But if you can follow the logic, keep following the video. Okay. All right. Sweet. Well, starting at the beginning. So Mr. Myers had some, before he started his channel, or he started a channel for the New Mexico stuff, but this just so happened to happen. But the first judge, I think, was Sarah Mayhew. All right. But I'm going to show you a lot of stuff right before that, though, just to show you the hypocrisy of this court, of these courts, but Tucson Superior Court, basically. And just so you know, the victims of this, we, the viewers, the subscribers, are the victims of your illegal and horrible actions toward innocent people.
Remington. Tucson Police Department shot a man in a wheelchair 9 times in the back and side. Allegedly, he was shoplifting from Walmart, trying to enter his way into a Lowe's garden center. Absolutely horrific story. We talk a lot about bad popo on this channel. This guy is one of them. We're going to take a look at a lot of the evidence surrounding this case. It comes in the form of several different videos. We've got one from the Lowe's and the Walmart parking lot where Officer Remington is following this gentleman by the name of Richard Lee Richards. He was 61 years of age at the time, through the parking lot. We have another video of an officer's body camera. And we've got a third video from inside the Lowe's, the garden center, where you can see an employee sort of scramble away at the last minute when this officer fires 9 shots into Mr. Richards' back. And so,
man, thank God we have the jail system to lock this guy up, shooting handicapped people in the back. Wow. Officer is fired. Show of hands, how many of you think this murderer is sitting in jail? And that's where the story ends for most people, right? So, but that was back in 2021. Now, this is 2 months ago, 2025, the beginning of 2025.
Back in 2021. News 4 Tucson's Connor McGill has the latest on this developing story from downtown. Connor.
Angelique, well, just 30 minutes ago, I spoke with Remington's attorney, Mike Story, about the decision today. But before we get to his reaction, let's dive into the background of this case. Now, you might remember this incident happened on November 29th of 2021 when Ryan Remington, an off-duty officer working as a security guard at Walmart, followed Richard Lee Richards after he was informed that Mr. Richards was accused of shoplifting. Despite repeated commands to stop, Mr. Richards refused and displayed a knife. At that point, Remington fired 9 shots, killing Mr. Richards. Today, the Pima County Grand Jury declined to indict the former Tucson police officer. Here's what Remington's attorney, Mike Story, had to say about the decision that came down.
It's long overdue. We were all confident it would come to this, and we are glad that Ryan can move on in peace with his.
Obviously, the cop is a murdering piece of trash, right? But where do murdering pieces of trash belong? In jail. That's why we buy and spend money on jails and, staff them and whatever. That's who needs to be occupying jails, not somebody who uses the internet. This piece of shit spent 4 years to keep this cop walking among you people, among us. Here, I'm gonna bring it all home right now. So how many of you out there, of course you guys have watched this because Lane Myers or whatever, but how many times have we heard the 122H and they're fighting about filming in the courtroom, right? before Lane's hearings just to piss him off. Here's what I'm trying to say. Look at this.
Well, I can
this
tell
is the
you that
exact
earlier
same
today
courtroom.
in Superior Court, a judge ruled a manslaughter indictment against former officer Ryan Remington be sent back to the grand jury.
And the exact same presiding judge from all Lane's cases that have been in this courtroom. The presiding judge, look, check it out. You think they did any fighting to get into, you know what I mean? You think the media didn't have to spend 15 minutes arguing with anybody to do this when they first got there? I mean, look, wait till it zooms out. This is the same courtroom Lane Myers has been in, or that we've seen him in. Look at that. Look how many people are there, right? And then, okay, look, for example, I'm going to show you a shot of Tuck Police Suck. Dude, there was literally nobody in the courtroom, and then the lawyer just says, "There's a disruption, Your Honor, blah, 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 blah." Like, look at this. That looks more disruptive to me than anything Lane has ever done. There's news media in there. There's like actual giant news cameras. There's a stenographer typing right there. Seriously? Come on.
Like it was a threat to me. It was a deadly weapon. I felt like I had to obey to avoid getting stabbed.
The prosecutor, Chris Ward, disagreed.
Aggravated assault was not committed by Mr. Richards in this case. He never made a threat to anybody to stab them.
Okay, now here's what happens whenever it's just one old man, one guy. There's no witnesses, there's nothing. It's just Tuck Police Suck and the prosecutor. And listen to what the prosecutor says about the three people sitting separately in the crowd.
Cleared right now. There's disruption going on. There's laughter, chuckling. You know, there's from members in the audience. There's several members of the gallery that are not part of this proceeding.
I'm going to play it again, but let me know if you hear laughter, chuckling, and if there's a bunch of disruption going on. And even if there was, he asked for the courtroom to be cleared because of it, not for them to just shut up.
Disruption going on. There's laughter, chuckling. You know, there's from members in the audience. There's several members of the gallery that are not part of this proceeding.
Really? Members of the public aren't part of a public court hearing proceed? And the word proceeding, that's accusatory. It's basically saying charge them with interference with a judicial proceeding, right? That's what he's trying to say. With this proceeding, right? That's what they do, man. It's keywords.
I'm going to be asking that this courtroom be cleared.
Well, I'm just going to admonish the people in the back of the courtroom. Keep your Snickers to yourself. You can talk about it and do whatever it is you need to do outside when we're down here.
There's video recording going on right now.
We can't have video, Mr. Brown.
Oh, it's clear. In Tucson City Court, Superior Court, the only recording that's going to take place is if a killer cop gets set free. Here's another little tiny detail about the Lane Myers conspiracy. They are trying to, first, their goal was to vilify his conduct in the courtroom, right? Conduct is not speech. Conduct is the way you handle yourself, the way you physical like reactions and stuff, right? We didn't hear this judge tell these guys to sit down, right? I mean, why would they? I mean, you're allowed to stand up if you're look. In both of them, each one of them are talking. The judge isn't admonishing them or saying sit down or anything like that, right? Because it's fine to stand up. Okay, so the only reason this judge would have to tell them to sit down is that she thinks there's something wrong with the conduct, you know what I mean? But she doesn't have a problem with the conduct, and there's nothing wrong with their conduct because standing up is okay, right? So if you wanted to make it seem like a lawyer was having a conduct issue, then you would probably just say sit down, right? And it would look like he was doing something wrong. On top of that, saying somebody's name, if you say Mr. Myers, his reaction is normally to be like yes or what, to say a word. Notice how she starts the sentence off, every sentence off with his name, Mr. Myers, and then says, in one sentence, she's trying to show that he is verbally combative, right, by cutting her off, and then also too that his conduct by standing up when he should be sitting down is she's trying to show conduct. It's all for the recording. It's all for their courtroom recording, right? They're going to use this as evidence to, and this has been since day one. This has been their thing, is they're trying to use his conduct against him, but they're creating his conduct. Anyway, just listen to this. Is 7. It says August 29th, but that's when he uploaded it. But it was August 20th is when the recording took place with Sarah Mayhew, Judge Sarah Mayhew. Also, this kind of goes without saying, but if somebody is staring right at you and telling you you're doing something that you're not, that is the most frustrating, anger-rising thing ever. Anybody who doesn't get angry if somebody is pointing right at them and telling them that they're, like right now, whatever you're... Listen to how he said courtroom decorum and not the rules of decorum. Because remember, Mayhew, remember in the beginning I showed you, Mayhew struck his filings for breaking the rules of decorum. No, courtroom decorum. You can't break the rules of decorum on a piece of paper.
Is inapplicable. Mr. Myers, if you could please have a seat. Nor does requiring proper courtroom...
There's no video. He's starting every sentence with Mr. Myers and telling him to sit down. Weird, right?
At a Senate Judiciary hearing or my hearing today? Because I have another hearing
Mr.
at
Myers,
10.
please don't interrupt the court. I'm making a record.
Thank you.
Nor does requiring proper courtroom decorum infringe upon a person's freedom of speech. The Arizona Constitution explicitly states that, quote, every person...
And this is the second time in this speech, whatever you want to call this gathering, that he has brought up the Arizona Constitution. And the first time was at the very beginning. He said the Arizona Constitution is the one that created this court. And now he's saying whatever he's saying now. But twice he's brought up the Arizona Constitution. Just saying. We'll get back to ball. Here's Mayhew.
I won't cuss no more. That's fine if your rules are no cussing. But you're going to make a mistake trying to hold me in contempt. You're going to find out.
Mr. Myers.
That sounds like a...
Sit down.
Your speech.
Sit down.
Your speech. Have the court date just like we're gonna have it. I'll act normal. I won't cuss. If you don't like cussing, if it hurts your feelings, I won't do it.
So he agrees to not cuss, and then immediately, what does she say?
Mr. Myers, have a seat, please.
I am seated.
No, you are not.
What's that?
Have a seat.
I am seated.
You are not. You are standing. You are very clearly standing.
I'm sitting on a bar stool. I'm sitting on a bar stool.
Okay, Mr. Myers. I have Mr. Myers, you are yelling at a judge, and I recommend you stop it right this second.
Are you kidding me? He's yelling at a judge that's yelling at him. This is ridiculous. And you might think to yourself, well, man, I mean, it's courtroom decorum, right? Courtroom decorum. Maybe he's, maybe there's other people watching him. You know what I'm saying? He's in his little shed, his little room or whatever. It's Zoom court. So of course I need the audio to be, doctored.
Do you want me to sit on the floor?
I want you to show your face in court.
So by this point she can tell he's sitting in his stool and that he's not going to cuss anymore. So, well, I mean, naturally now he has to show his face because she can't see him, even though all he did was just step off screen for a couple seconds.
Oh, my face is right here. See it? Look at that beautiful face.
Okay, now it's my turn to talk. I have received multiple filings from you.
What is it? What have you received? It was kind of like broken up when you said it.
Mr. Myers, I have received multiple filings from you.
Yes.
So here's the deal. These filings all include profanity, threats, and insults. That's
it right there. Profanity, threats, and insults. That's what they're going to accuse him of this whole time, dude.
Mr. Myers, I am speaking right now.
Okay.
Mr. Myers, you state that you are an experienced litigator, and as an experienced litigator, you are well aware of the rules of decorum in a court. I am striking your filings for failure to comply with the rules of decorum. You are free to...
Striking his filings for the rules of decorum. They weren't filings. It was a brief to get her briefed up on. Anyways, it doesn't matter. He used one word bullshit in the entire 2 documents that he filed. And who in the fuck? Since when does a filing have to abide by courtroom decorum? A filing, not a person, a piece of paper.
Refile anything as long as it does not contain Now I am speaking, sir.
About 7 things. Can you
sir,
articulate
stop
the exact filing
speaking.
you're referring to?
What
is it?
Okay. Mr. Myers, you are free to refile anything you believe needs to be refiled. Any filings you send to this court may not contain profanity, insults to the court staff, or the opposing party, and no threats. If you can comply with those things, I will not strike your next filings. I am aware that you want to set a court date for a trial. Your Rule 8 time does not expire until November 15th. What that means is that the state has the ability to bring you to trial at any time between now and November 16th. We are happy to pick a trial date. All right. I am going to remove you from the court, and we will send you the next court date. You're not picking a trial date today if you are going to include profanity in this courtroom. If you do it again, all right. Rosa, how do I remove him? There you go. I need to remove him from the Zoom meeting. He's out.
Okay, he's out of the meeting. Now, listen to her talk to nobody. It's obvious she's trying to just get this for the record so they can use it against him.
And we'll just set a new trial date. I'm happy to set a trial date, Mr. Myers. We can set a trial date anytime, but we're not going to do it with you being profane. It's not going to happen. That is not appropriate. If you can behave yourself and be appropriate, then we will go forward. If you need to have an attorney,
And that's their plan B, is to get him to have an attorney appointed, attack his character, attack his behavior in the courtroom. And so make it seem like he cannot be in the courtroom, appoint him a lawyer and then convict him of whatever they want. Right. That's been the goal since day one. Now, I want y'all to want y'all to get familiar with it's an idea that when you get a group of friends together, you guys come up with let's say you say a certain word differently, but all you guys kind of start to say it differently. Like, for example, I had a friend named Nathan. He grew up in Alabama, and when his friends were little, they used to say titty balls because they were just thinking of things that they had and that they liked. They're like, I have balls, I like titties. So it was an expression oh snap, or oh shit, oh titty balls. Anyways, that's just an example, but all their friends said it. And so anyways, using weird words or pronouncing words in the wrong way, but anyway, it's something that a close group of people do. So like a conspiracy, the people who are in a conspiracy have the level of you know what I mean? They start copying each other. They have to kind of know what the other one's thinking. So anyways, it just means when they use similar weird words like that, it means that they spent a lot of time together, too much time together, I think.
Appointed for you because you cannot comport yourself with dignity in this courtroom. I will appoint an attorney. Yes, please. I am removing you. All right.
Yeah, can I just briefly be heard?
Yep.
Mayhew Walker for the state. If the court would like, I can double check. We have, as you can probably imagine, numerous witnesses. I can send the court a list of their conflict dates, and you can tell me what the court's available trial dates are, and we can just pick a trial date.
That's fine.
Okay.
Cool. So he's got the list of witnesses. Mr. Myers can't sit down, and he says the F word sometimes. Okay. And see, another thing that's so Weasley about this is that ex parte communications are not allowed, period. It's just immediate grounds for dismissal, whatever, retrial. But they are allowed to talk about scheduling issues. And so this motherfucker thinks that he's going to slide by with setting a jury trial date as a scheduling issue. What the fuck?
Yep.
Anything else from the state on this matter?
No, I'm striking those briefs. If he wants to refile them without profanity or insults, he can do that at a later time. If he files it with insults, I'm going to continue to strike them.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay. That was fun.
That was fun? Really? Number one, if I even believed that that's the right word, I mean, that she really felt that way. It wasn't fun. You know what I'm saying? But even if it was fun for her, that's even worse, because why is the judge having fun fucking, you know what I mean, kicking somebody out of their courtroom and having to, you know what I mean? If that was the case. Now, what I think she means is, wow, that was more interesting than my normal day of not doing this. She didn't even know how to kick somebody off. She never kicked anybody off there before. Why would she? She shouldn't have to. Anyway, let's see what the next hearing was about.
You let this motherfucker get off some bullshit, it's gonna be on you.
Done?
There's nothing more to say. Set the trial date so I can leave, so I can quit disrupting your court.
Sit down.
You let this motherfucker get off some bullshit, it's gonna be on you.
Fine. You had a statement, you said pre-trial matters?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
You said you had some matters to discuss.
Yeah, just wanted a few things to bring up, Your Honor. Obviously, the court's familiar with Mr. Myers' conduct. I don't need to get into it.
Yep, exactly. It's kind of funny because if it's hard to hear, but if in the background you can hear Riojas say, well, I don't know, I've never met him, because he says, oh, obviously the court's familiar with Mr. Myers' conduct, and literally he says, I don't know, I've never met him. I thought that was, I like Riojas.
Thank you. What's his name? He was ashamed of who he is or any of that. He has no shame.
I want to be heard on 2 matters.
You guys can talk amongst yourself when I'm gone. Because if you start the hearsay bullshit again, you're a tainted jury. So if he says anything other than anything about the case, you just tainted the jury. Because if the jury was sitting here, he wouldn't be able to talk hearsay.
You don't get a jury trial, Mr. Mayor.
I don't what?
You don't get a jury trial.
You're the jury. You're supposed to be an impartial judge, which means an impartial jury. If you let this man spout off about anything other than the facts of the case, you just tainted the jury, You'll be recused like the last 4 judges. You'll have a Commission of Judicial Conduct complaint. You'll have a lawsuit. You can laugh and joke all we want. This is an unethical piece of shit prosecutor.
Stop. Threatening to sue a judge like threatening to throw fish in the water. So
Yeah, Riojas just said, threatening to sue a judge is like threatening to throw a fish in the water. Meaning it happens all the time. It's nothing. Don't worry about it. It's not a threat. Putting on notice a judge that he's going to be sued is not a threat. Riojas just said it.
I'm not threatening fucking shit. I'm threatening to file a formal complaint on you because you're a piece of shit.
fine, sir.
You're a fucking scam-ass judge over creating fucking bullshit.
Sir,
this is straight bullshit, and that's a lying sack of shit right there. Fake witness, wannabe victim.
Sit down. Thank you.
Play games. Put this fucking clown on the fucking stand.
And the next judge is my favorite one, Judge Ball, right? Judge Ballsack himself. Now this one, they put it on Zoom because they weren't going to allow to have any people in the courtroom. So it has to be public. So they have to somehow open it to the public, and that's letting people in on Zoom. So this one was recorded by somebody, so we can see it. I'm just skipping all the hearings that were contested against all the injunctions. I'm skipping those. These are just the ones that are in this trial.
State of Arizona versus Lane Jeffrey Myers, CR 24013770. Record reflect the presence of Ms. Samantha Walker in person on behalf of the state. Present the defendant also in person out of custody, seated at the defense table. Is the time set for a status conference, but first we need to do a formal arraignment. So, sir, we can confirm we have your full correct legal name.
Yes,
first
sir.
name Lane, middle name Jeffrey, last name Myers, email address of.
And they kept saying, wait, they wanted me to wait. It's going to be a quick turnaround because I wanted that. So I came here in person and got this. But the email from the clerk or whatever that you said in here, it never came. As of right now, it still hasn't came, and they said they sent it 3 times.
Okay, we're getting to the juicy parts, but just remember this. Of course, it's 2025. Logically think about this up until now. It's 2025, man. He can't send him an email? No, they didn't send him on purpose. And when somebody sends you an email, what is the one thing, the piece of information you get out of it? Even if the email is blank, you get their email. So why would Judge Ball not want Lane to know what his email is? Weird, right? Just remember that.
Confirm the email and all that. And I get other emails from other cases.
All right, thanks for letting us know.
Sit down, Mr. Myers. Just kidding. But why isn't he telling him to sit down right now?
We'll look into that on our end. And then, sir, have you ever served in the U.S. Armed Forces?
No, sir.
And next, I must inform you, the state of Arizona.
That's an odd question. He's never been asked that in any other of his hearings. What would the U.S. Armed Forces have to do with anything? Remember that.
Charged with a violation of the law. Specifically, they've alleged you violated Arizona Revised Statute Title 13, Section 2810, subsection 2, that's interfering with judicial proceedings, failure to comply with the court order, is a class 1 misdemeanor, maximum possible penalty, $2,500 fine, plus additional surcharges up to 6 months in jail, 3 years probation. I don't know if the state will seek the maximum penalty. That is the maximum allowed by law. Because you've been charged with that class 1 misdemeanor, you'd have to receive prior permission from the court before you leave the state of Arizona. But before we go any further, I do want to review some of your constitutional rights, okay?
Please do, because they're important.
So you have the right to plead not guilty, and I'll enter a not guilty plea on your behalf at this time.
Thank you.
You also have the right to a trial, and you have the right to the assistance of an attorney at all court proceedings. You further have the right to remain silent, and you are currently presumed to be innocent, unless or until the state can prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. And even then, even if found guilty at trial, you would still have a right to an appeal. However, you would lose that right to an appeal if you were to cause your own sentencing to be delayed more than 90 days past any conviction. Now, you
Shannon Walker.
further have the right and the responsibility to be present for all future court proceedings. You fail to appear for any court hearing, a couple things could happen. First is that the proceeding could be held in your absence, including even the trial. Second thing that could happen is that a warrant would issue for your arrest. You'd be charged warrant fees, could be charged with another misdemeanor offense called failure to appear. So it is your responsibility to keep your current address and contact info updated with the court. That's how we'll let you know what's going on in your case and when your next court date is. So as I indicated, you'd have a right to an attorney. In some cases, you'd have the right for the court to appoint you one, but only if the state is seeking to deprive you of your liberty.
Right.
So this time I'm going to ask the state prosecutor. Ms. Walker, the state seeking jailers who
Also, remember the way she says, "Yes, Your Honor."
supervise probation in this matter.
Yes, Your Honor.
It is?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Your Honor.
All right.
Your Honor.
All right. And so, sir, again, I noticed you had filed the notice of appearance.
Okay, so after this one ends, and then they have a motions hearing in front of Judge Ball, the next one, but his family can't get on Zoom. Anyway, just listen.
17, 18, 19, and into 2021, 2022, 2023, and now here in 2024, the accusation that I only have 3 years of judicial experience is patently incorrect. My entire legal career has been spent as an employee of the judiciary, working with judges in chambers. Mr. Myers, if you could please have a seat. Mr. Myers, if you could please have a seat.
Why isn't there Zoom right now?
Because
My family
this
to
was,
see
ordered, this was ordered for an in-person court hearing. So
Why
Mr.
can't my
Myers,
family attend right now from Michigan?
again, Mr. Myers, it was ordered for an in-person court hearing. If you could please have a seat. Like I was saying, my entire legal career has been spent as an employee of the judiciary, working with judges in chambers and in the courtroom to administer justice as a judicial law clerk and now as a judicial officer. Next.
So when there's video and Mr. Myers is standing up, he's never told to sit down, like we saw. And now that there's no video, the judge is calling him by his first name at the beginning of the sentence and telling him to sit down like 3 or 4 times. It's weird, right? And also, too, what are the chances that that Judge Ball and anyways, just listen.
Parties shall remain seated unless they seek recognition to speak from the court. If a party wishes to add to the record, they shall silently stand and wait to speak until called upon by the court.
Okay, there is no actual rules of decorum. If there were, there would be a sign on the big front of the door and everybody would know them, you know? But that's what they bring up. But Mr. Myers just brought that up, that you're not explaining the rules. So Judge Ball went on the record and explained those rules. Everybody remain seated unless they want to talk, and if they do, stand up, right? But that is after he has already told Mr. Myers to sit down 3 times, right? So now if they want to, the use of the audio, all they got to do is just put this before it, and then, you know what I mean? It's ridiculous what they're doing. And also, too, like I was saying about those words that friends have, you know, that like they say just words that aren't in general. Well, I think you're too close with somebody when you start using their same jargon, right? So after this,
Myers, you're leaving a warrant that's going to issue for your immediate arrest.
Are we having a hearing today or letting you talk all day? Because I got a hearing at 10. I have another hearing at 10. You're wasting my time.
Again, Mr. Myers,
This isn't your world. This is your courtroom. Where's the Zoom? Why can't my family? Why can't my family be on Zoom right now?
Explaining what the rules are.
There's no rule that my family can't attend on Zoom. Keep going. Let's go.
Keep interrupting. I'm going to hold you in direct contempt of court.
You don't scare me, bro. Let's do the hearing.
All right, I'm holding you in direct contempt of court this time. If you could take him into custody, I'm going to, in the interest of justice, I'm appointing you, Mr. William Parvin, to represent you on.
He had to make sure he got it on that record, right? I'm going to arrest you illegally, but I'm going to appoint you a lawyer legally in the same sentence as him telling the court to arrest him, which is not legal. It's not an arrestable offense to be in contempt of the court, right? Anyways, so in that same breath where he illegally arrests him, literally right after that, legally appoints him counsel. Think about that, dude. How could that not be the plan from the beginning? Now, remember when I was talking about Sarah Mayhew, or when I was talking about friends using the same weird words or whatever, she used the word comport. If you cannot comport yourself. Now, here's an email that Lane is reading of Judge Balls that he sent to Prophet.
You are publishing because in my take him into custody, so you did have the order. Don't blame this. I actually feel bad for the security guards now because they were already up Shit's Creek, and now I got a judge saying it wasn't me. You guys are all supposed to stick together, and they were supposed to say the judge said it, and the judge was supposed to say, yeah, I said it. What are you going to do? You guys are fucking dumb, Judge Ball. You just threw your guys under the bus. Teamwork. You couldn't even stick together. Look. As a person with a large public platform, I hope you feel the sense of responsibility to be accountable for the information you are publishing because, in my opinion, claiming that I kidnapped a litigant at the Justice Court is not constructive discourse. Doesn't comport with reality.
Publish, right? So they do know the difference between publish and post. Now, when it's to help him, the content is published. But when it's not to help him and to hurt Lane Myers, they say posted. Right? What's the difference? Well, if you post something, somebody doesn't really have a choice but to read it, and you did it intentionally. If you're just publishing content, that's your copyrighted material. That's to everybody, right? You direct something at somebody, which is one of the elements of harassment. You can't direct harassment at everybody because it's not harassment if everybody's not being harassed. But if you post something, it can specifically be for somebody in which can be harassed. So for them to have any of this work, he has to be posting information about Shannon Walker, but he doesn't. He publishes a story that has her name in it.
I hope you feel the sense of responsibility to be accountable for the information you are publishing because, in my opinion, claiming that I kidnapped a litigant at the Justice Court is not constructive discourse. Doesn't comport with reality. You ordered me taken into custody with no lawful reason. I was in jail. I couldn't leave. I wanted to go home. I couldn't. I said, I'll pay you money. They said, you can't. People called and said, can we get him out of there? We'll pick him up right now. What can you do? No, he's not leaving. He's no bond. He's being held without ransom. He's kidnapped.
2 weeks ago, okay, trying to say that he's intimidating. Now, listen, she tells her, she spills the beans.
He has been not had any contact with anyone at the U of A School of Law. We would ask, he has been posting as we are asking for him to not possess any firearms. In the post recently, he talked about wanting to get a firearm. Given the safety risk in this case, we are concerned if he were to get a firearm. We're asking again for the no contact with the victim. We're asking for no contact with the victim's family, including no contact through any third party. We're asking for him not to be able to access the internet. He has been actively using the internet as a way to harm this victim, to harm other people, to intimidate any potential witnesses, to intimidate judges, to intimidate prosecutors. He has been posting, asking for people to go to people's homes and to go to their workplaces and to reach out to them. So I believe any further access he has to the internet will put people at harm. He can go even if he represents himself to the law library and be able to access what he needs to be able to do legal research. We would.
So she said if he needs to, he can go to the law library, like he can just walk in there or something. And then this second part coming up here is she's talking about disclosure. And she basically says if people get to look at this disclosure for long enough and study it, then they're going to realize we're lying. Because she says it's going to hurt their case if people are able to look at just listen to this shit.
Look at it, which again would cause further harassment and intimidation of the victim. It also will put any potential witnesses at risk. and it's going to create problems for if this case were to proceed to trial of getting a fair jury pool who hasn't seen, who currently wouldn't know about the case, but if they sit there and read all the disclosure in the case and that is readily available, it's going to risk us being able to have a fair trial in this case.
She just said if the disclosure, like their evidence is readily available to us, that they're not going to be able to have a fair trial. Think about that shit, dude. That's insane. Thank God they're so sloppy that we can fucking prove that they're lying pieces of shits and that they're setting Lane up. Thank God they're so sloppy we can prove that without the disclosure. But I mean, if we did have it, it might look something like this. Have 80-page documents that all of them have issues. The police ones don't have dates on them. So basically what it is they need, Shannon Walker can't be a witness and a victim, right? So what they have to do is they have to make sure that the police are the witnesses. So literally every instance which she's talking about have to be reported to the cops, right? So the exact 14 that she has, that they have charged her with, are the exact 14 where there's a police report supposedly, but you can't read the dates of any of them, right? And then in the description, the dates are rewritten. Right, they write the dates in there, but the actual documentation doesn't have the dates on it. Right. So what they did is they took all the instances where that felt like she was harassed or whatever, and then they got the cop Eric Brown that testified, and got him to rewrite all of them in his name and with the dates on there. It's ridiculous. Observe. We're supposed to believe this date, right? The one that they wrote in there. But now, it's like that on all of them. But then we get to the harassing emails and letters, and guess what? They magically have a date because they need to know what date they were sent so they can correlate them to a video, because none of them are connected to any of the videos. So their only hope is that the date is what's going to be connect them to the certain video that she's complaining about. So guess what? So these, look right there, these have dates now. Crazy, right? Isn't that fucking nuts? But are they correct? I mean, they look like they're official and they should be there, but I mean, who knows, right? And this is why she was saying, if they have this readily available, it's going to hurt our case, because they're all lies. Watch this. I just want to say, if it was the date that it was printed and they printed this all out at the same time, they'd all be the same date, right? So think about that. And if they printed them on different dates, they'd have different dates, but not, well, one email wouldn't have the same printed date as the other one unless they printed it twice or added it in there twice, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know if I've already said this, but Judge Ball's website was Ball Justice for All, and this one is Justice for All Peace. Like, a justice is a justice of the peace at Proton Mail, which is like hardcore, like encrypted. Give me a break, dude. And Shannon's extension number is blocked out. So this person had her extension number. So it says on March 15th in the right there on the thing, and March 13th it says too right there on the narrative part. But the date in the top is 3/17. Right, so you're like, okay, so that's okay. So it came on, they printed it on the 17th, and but the two. Now check this out. Why would they have that twice? There'd be no reason to have it twice, right? Here it is again, the exact same message, but on the 16th. I'm a YouTuber. I'm a YouTube channel watcher. I've been watching the Lane Myers channel. See, I'm a YouTuber channel watcher. I've been watching the Lane Myers channel, but same thing. But 3/17. So how can we trust any of these dates? Because they can just change them and put the same email on them, dude. Like that's probably why there's 80 of them. Now, the thing is Shannon can't testify to this because she's the victim, right? She can't be a witness. So that's why they called all these to the cops, and now the cop gets on the stand and says this is bullshit. I was watching this live, so when I say objection, just don't listen to that. That was because I can't cut that out because anyways, you get the idea. Full stack of emails
sent to the Mrs. Walker.
And what is the time frame for those emails?
This one on the top here is March
Objection. Define time frame.
15th of 2025. We have March 16th, 17th, 18th, the 18th again, 18th, March 19th, and as well as a voice message from March 19th and another email from March 19th.
Oh, look, this is a top-notch operation. Did you hear the cop say, "Oh, on the top here"? Instead of admitting or saying that this is the date that this was printed, he just said, "Oh, on the top here," and then, dude, oh my god, dude, these people are bad. These all end at the 17th. Wonder. Also, too, remember that last video I made where I was like, when they played the voice call or whatever, and they had to play it again because it was split in half. And I was like, well, I wonder if that came from a Zoom call. It absolutely did. And it's split in half exactly where they had to stop and replay it. Anyways, here, I just screen recorded it for my last video, but here's what I'm talking about. So just kind of check it out. All I said was, just remember this, right? Dude, I'm glad I picked.
In your honor, permission to publish those voicemails?
Yes.
So they do know what the word publish means.
Styles, go ahead. And are you going to play those?
Yes. So I've got state 16 first. Just want to make sure.
So by this point, I don't know if I made this clear yet, but this recording is 100% fabricated by the state. I don't even need to hear it. Here we go.
Make sure we redress you at your house, in front of your neighbors, in front of your family, and let them know what a Nazi piece of shit you are.
I don't think it played the whole thing. Your Honor, if I could play, I think it cut off part of it.
Now, this cutting part of it off on accident, like they didn't know or whatever, and then for something else that they tried to get Million Myers on, I think that was his voice saying they're fucked. And also, too, the break in and having to play it again, that's just remember this shit, okay?
Is that okay?
Yes.
We're going to make sure we redress our grievances with you, and if that's going to be in front of your neighbors, in front of your family, then so be it. You want to keep it up, then keep harassing innocent citizens, then we're going to make sure we redress you at your house.
Okay, so yeah, that was me saying, yeah, remember that. Now,
in
look.
Front of your neighbors.
So those two right there, look at the break right here, right? They were busy this day because that was this. Anyway, it's split in half. You see there what I'm talking about? Because they printed this out and they took down my videos about the same subject on that day. Weird. All right, I have to end this video, but I just want to leave you all with just a logical question. How is it that somebody who writes a magazine article about, I don't know, Beyonce being fat, right? How come they don't get somebody go to their house and a cop write down what they wrote and they get called to the stand and get arrested and Beyonce becomes the victim, right? How come that doesn't happen? Well, it's because they have laws that protect them because they work for a news company, which is what Lane has. That's why he registered an LLC. And the anti-SLAPP laws that Arizona has is supposed to protect him, but the judge won't recognize that, won't recognize him as media, right? And then so let's say, so how else does somebody, like what else protects you from that? You know what I'm saying? Well, the U.S. Constitution, it's the ability to redress your grievances to your government. But that part is not in the Arizona Constitution, right? That's crazy, huh? So like, well, again, I think he has to go to federal court, dude. And there's actually a clause that allows him to do that. And he's just being administratively railroaded, basically. But I want you to see, because all these have been when he's been hot and they've been motions are running. I want you to see what Lane's like on a normal day.
Hello, everyone.
This is his demeanor normally.
Appreciate you taking the time to watch these videos, watch all the videos. Comment, share, like, subscribe, all that you've done really empowers me to want to keep fighting for our rights as public landowners. We're all in this together and I appreciate it. And I will not back down no matter what, I will take this to the highest court if I have to. I know I'm right. I know I was unlawfully arrested, imprisoned. So I wanted to give an update where we're at right now. I'm going to start, I just got a computer and a phone and all this that can do all this. I got to get better internet, so please bear with me. I'm new to all this technology stuff. and I am going to do my best to make it as smooth as possible, but it's definitely going to be some amateur hour video type stuff at first. But I got a lot to say. I'm going to break down my case from all different angles.
Free Lane Myers, then accept his lawsuits, and then pay Lane Myers. You owe this guy a lot of fucking money. You owe all of us, but I mean, him especially. You need to pay this man. Pay that man his money.